Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again, and we will start our breakout session regarding investment opportunities in Ukraine. I would like to hand over right away to the Managing Director of Ukraine Invest, Sergei Sivkoch. He is going to give a presentation.
Thank you very much, Marcus. I would like to welcome all audience of the fourth German-Ukrainian Business Forum that is being held today in Berlin. Thank you very much for organizing it. It is excellent organization. I would like to welcome offline and online guests and also co-speakers of our panel. And I would like to make a short presentation about Ukrainian investment potential, about latest developments in Ukraine, and about potential for cooperation with German businesses. If I can
Können wir die haben, die
presentation.
Präsentation?
Is it on? Yes, so Ukrainian and German economic cooperation was gaining momentum for the last 2 decades, I would say, and cooperation is very active at the moment. In Ukraine, you can see about 2,000 German companies operating effectively. These companies, they represent various sectors of economy, starting with retail, metallurgy, chemical production, technology, electronics, electric parts, all different sectors of economy covered, and they operate in Ukraine, as I said, for several years so far. Ukraine Invest actively working with German companies in Ukraine. We provide support, we provide advisory services, and we also that partner and reliable, governmental shoulder that you can rely on when you have any plans about Ukraine or when you need to sort out any possible cases that you come across in Ukraine. So in 2021, we were managed to provide effective support to companies like Knauf, Coastal, Kreisel, Linde Group, AEU, and other German companies in Ukraine. Ukraine is the biggest European country in terms of its territory. We are 42 million people strong. Our international reserves are 23.7 billion euros as of beginning of March this year. And FDI stock from Germany at the moment in Ukraine is 1.7 billion euros. 1.9 billion euros, and exports to Germany from Ukraine actually are the biggest exports to European companies, and they are equivalent to 1.7 billion euros. We are positioned between Europe, and we have good logistical hubs between Europe and Middle East and Asia. Ukraine has 17 free trade agreements with 47 countries worldwide. And this includes as well deep and comprehensive free trade agreement with European Union. So that makes us a very strategically positioned country for provision of logistical services for European companies and for companies from Asia and Middle East. When we talk about competitiveness, we also need to mention our prices for utilities, for example, because when investors enter our country, they pay attention to that. So we are very cost effective in terms of electricity, natural gas, about average monthly salary of workers in Ukraine, and also in terms of availability of workforce in Ukraine. This will give you a good view of possibilities in Ukraine, specifically in terms of nearshoring. What we have realized recently, we were following latest developments in Europe and globally, of course. So what was happening during pandemic is that about 20% of European contracts were not fulfilled by Asian suppliers on time or in full extent, or they have met all or any other obstacles when contracts were fulfilled. So there is a concept now in Europe among European manufacturers, concept of second Asia. This concept is about nearshoring, so bringing your companies closer to Europe and having suppliers closer to your border in order to make your supply chains more resistant. We have analyzed that European Union annually buys goods from Asia for $855 billion US. It's a huge amount. Also, European companies wait for up to 47 days for those goods to be delivered. Also, in addition to that, European companies, they pay over $17 billion US for logistics, and about $70 billion are blocked on bank accounts of European companies for prepayment purposes. So all those benefits are out there, and we expect that Ukraine will become next manufacturing hub for European countries. And in this regard, I would like to pay attention to our next slide, because Ukraine, during pandemic, was working hard on development of regulatory policy and working hard to become outstanding among other countries in order to compete for investors. So what happened last year, it's a real breakthrough in our investment climate. Ukraine has passed a law on support for investment with significant investments. This law, this presidential law, will provide ability for investor who can invest at least 20 million euros within 5 years' time, and who can create at least 80 working places within this time. Then they will get state support in amount of up to 30% out of investment made. This support will be provided in a form of tax relief, custom duties relief, connection to grids, land lease, and other soft investment incentive measures can be provided. The law is covering vast spectrum of sectors of economy of Ukraine. So manufacturers or businessmen, investors that operate in processing, mining, extraction, logistics, transportation, warehousing, waste management, healthcare, education, science, R&D activities, sports, arts, culture, or tourism, they can become eligible and apply for this state support. I need to tell you as well that Ukraine Invest was designated as authorized state agency by government of Ukraine to become agency that is responsible for support of investors during process of application for state support under this law. So we are open to your suggestions, and only the last 2 months we have been approached by investors from Ukraine and international investors, because actually the law provides for possibility for local investors and international investors to apply and create joint ventures as well, which is a real good feature under this law. So we have been approached and asked to support projects for over 800 million euros so far. This is impressive, and we can see real interest of companies to apply under this law. I would like to stress out that we have natural cooperation with German companies, and already so far 25% of exports from Ukraine to Germany are produced by German companies in Ukraine. So this is a good sign, and under this law we can make this figure even bigger. Just briefly about accomplishments of last year. So land reform and other achievements were done last year. Now next year we are moving towards R&D development and manufacturing, about development of multimodal transportation, and there will be a next section on this one, working on energy efficiency and other areas of development of economic activities in Ukraine. In Ukraine, when we talk to German businesses, I need to tell you that already we have 47 registered industrial parks. Not all of them operational yet, but we are working on legislation to make them blooming in Ukraine. Also, we have over 130 greenfields and brownfields. They are ready for you. They are ready for your investment, your innovations, and your operations in Ukraine. Ukraine Invest provides you with full services as one-stop shop service of government of Ukraine. Please get in touch at any point of time. And also, please refer to our Ukraine Invest guide. It's analytical online tool that consists of 350 pages about regulatory policy, about overview of sectors of economy of Ukraine, and specific investment projects. You can find it easily on our website or just Google it. So on this note, I would like to pass the floor to our distinguished moderator. Again, Alexander, thank you. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Yes, thank you, Sergey. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Sergey. I'm going to speak German. So again, thank you, Sergey. We have a second participant from Kyiv in the line. I welcome Dmitry Senechenko, chairman of the State Property Fund of Ukraine. Thank you very much for joining us today. Makes me very happy. We 2 weeks ago, I think, personally met in Kyiv, and now you are attending this Congress online. You have the floor. You have about 6 minutes, and please stay brief. And I think you have also brought a presentation.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants. I'm honored to be today with you. State Property Fund of Ukraine is responsible for privatization. We are executing the policy, which is clearly defined by the President of Ukraine, Prime Minister of Ukraine, and we are working closely with Ukraine Invest to give full and explicit information about the privatization objects. Since the year 2005, there was no so-called big privatization in Ukraine. The last case was privatization of Kryvyi Metal steel plant. So we are executing the policy, which is clear. We are open for investments, including the big and small privatization. I will share with you some slides. Please put them on the screen. Indeed, we changed in the previous year and the year of coronavirus. Completely we changed principles and mechanism of privatization process, which became much more open and transparent. It was previously the newspaper, which was issued in 500 copies in Ukrainian. Now we have a website with all teasers. We have virtual data rooms. We have a possibility for physical access and auctions. So we conducted more than 1,900 auctions on small privatization in the year 2020 and completely changed the principles of privatization towards service oriented for local and international investors. Even in the difficult year of coronavirus, we achieved a lot of results. We exceeded the budget plan for the revenues from privatization. In June, we brought to the budget of Ukraine more than 3 billion hryvnias. We organized what is the most important, the fair competition, when the number of participants has doubled and competition between 20 participants is not longer a dream, it's a real reality. And the competition and open tenders are also giving the result that the final prices of the different lots went up by 200%, becoming fair and market driven. And I can underline this is in the coronavirus time, and in the budget year 2020, we brought to the budget more than in the year 2019 in 5 times and in 10 times more than in the year 2018. The main policy of privatization is not indeed to get as much as most possible revenues for the budget. The main policy and the main tasks is to provide the assets which should be owned and managed by the private sector in an open, transparent way to bring local and international investors. So this is the first task. Also important task of privatization, fight with corruption. That's why the political will is really needed. And I can assure you that we have full support of Prime Minister, President, and we are working closely with the parliament now to cancel the restriction to provide auctions next month. So what we have in our portfolio for this and the next years? We have 22 large-scale privatization assets, consist of agro holdings, heavy industries plants, energy production, distribution facilities, chemical industry, factories, mining companies. We are prepared to hold the transparent and competitive auctions with all the support of all authorities and trust of the market. And the next year, the next month, we are expecting that Ukrainian parliament will cancel the restriction to provide the auctions for large-scale privatization, and the fund can overcome the budget plan of 12 billion hryvnias, which is approximately $500 million in the year 2021. We developed the privatization schedule. We hired professional advisors. The first 5 objects we hope to put on the auctions this year. One of the assets are Ukrainian mining and ore company with starting cost of several billion hryvnias should happen this summer. And more than 10 international companies already interested in the assets. So we are also inviting German business to sign NDA and to get full explicit information about the big privatization assets. This year, we are also will conduct auctions for the privatized Bolshevyk plant. This is a large 35 hectares territory in the downtown of Kyiv for redevelopment. Large and probably the best hotel in Ukraine, President Hotel, electricity distribution companies, and I will give you a bit more information slightly about each asset. For example, United Mining and Chemical Company consists of 2 mining and metallurgical plants. 100% state-owned company is development of titanium and zircon deposits and production of routine, ilmenite, and zirconium concentrate and enrichment services. Ukrainian Mining and Ore Company accounts for 3% of worldwide production volumes of titanium containing substrates. 90% of company's production is exported. And there is a sustainable demand on the production of this company on external market of titanium minerals. Privatization advisor is BDO, Corporate Finance, in a consortium with Baker McKinsey, KPMG, etc. So we are expecting the auction will take place after the disposal of information, sending the investment memo. Virtual data rooms available for the investors will be in a month. We are expecting auctions to happen summer or beginning of autumn. Next lot is Bolshevik. This is first Kyiv machine building plant, which is not the plant in the downtown part of the city anymore. The total area of facility is 300,000 square meters. Probably this is the largest site.
One minute, then we have to come to an end, okay?
Yes, okay, I'm coming to an end. So this is the largest site for the development and the best potential for redevelop on the territory. Advisor KPMG in consortium with BDO and Cushman and Wakefield. So you will find all this information in our websites, Odessa Port Site Plan, electricity distribution system operators. This year, Ukraine is implementing RAB tariffs, and these electricity system operators, Oblenergo, are becoming very lucrative assets for the investors. Thank you for the attention. State Property Fund is opened for requests. We are fully transparent. We are working closely, as I already mentioned, with Ukraine Invest and happy to provide all necessary information to consider potential investments through the privatization in Ukraine. Thank you very much for the attention.
Ja, vielen Dank, Herr Senichenko.
Thank you, Mr. Senichenko. And Roman Opimak, unfortunately could not join us here because he is attending an important meeting with the president in Ukraine as we speak. So let me ask Sergei again, 20 seconds you have for a final statement, please.
Thank you very much for invitation to speak here today. If we will talk, just maybe to cover for Roman, just for 10 seconds. Ukraine has a lot to offer in terms of deposits, in terms of mining and extraction. This year, State Subsoil Service and Geology Survey of Ukraine, they will be auctioning plots and deposits in Ukraine. So it's over 24 plots, and the overall investment that is expected to be brought to Ukraine through that process is about $10 billion. So a significant amount. I would stress out, bring attention of German businesses specifically to lithium and cobalt, because these are strategic minerals. They are very important for your automotive industry. And we have been talking today to German associations about possibility to do some kind of a joint activity in this sector. So Ukraine is open for business as never before. We are really transparent. We are open, regulatory policy updated, new managers appointed, and we are waiting for attention of big business of Germany, and also specifically I would like to invite medium-sized business from Germany to enter Ukraine, and we will be there, your guides, to guide you through to all specifics and advise you how to do business in Ukraine, and we will provide you support 24/7. Thank you very much. Vielen Dank.
Thank you very much, Sergei. Vielen Dank, Sergei.